Welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast with author Sarah F. Hathaway and co-host Chen Gibson. Blending survival, fiction, and fact to bring you entertaining education that will help you dream, survive, and thrive. And now, here's your host, Sarah F. Hathaway and Chen Gibson.
Hello, and welcome back to the Changing Earth podcast. This is episode number 347. Hey, Tim, what's up?
Holy, welcome to my hurricane.
So, Chin's dealing with some technical difficulties of the new location today. So,
we decided to go to the stars and back, and I think I got stuck in one of Saturn's moons or something.
hey, there's a CME headed our way tonight, so it could be that happening. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Interference.
Yeah.
So hopefully you'll be with us the whole show. That'd be cool.
Yeah. We'll see.
So we had a little disagreement over the show today. I'm gonna let you take the reins next week. I'm concerned, very concerned, and I want to keep the awareness up, keep hammering this home about how fragile the food supply is and where we're kind of headed, and steps that we can take to be ready for that kind of thing, and how we can get through that without mad disorder. The last time the Arab Spring happened, it was like wheat shortages and stuff. So I really don't want America to look like that. That would be preferable.
Yeah, no, I'm on board with that whole mindset, but I'm also on board with let's just work on solutions. Stop yelling like little.
Yep, absolutely. And when you're like, I thought you were reading my mind when you came. You're like, let's do it on organization and priorities and rest. And I'm like, what? Are you freaking kidding me right now? I'm working my butt off. I've like 8 more projects ahead of me. It was just like, does he have a camera at my house or something?
Every time I turn around, somebody's telling me, well, there's this has to get done. I'm like, I can only do
Oh, I hear you.
Slow down the spin of the earth so we get more hours in a day, and I might be able to get more done. But
actually, the opposite is happening right now. It's actually speeding up, and you're gonna have less hours in the day. So. Yeah.
I snapped a snapshot of my view of the day, my work day,
which is a beautiful workday view, might I add. Much preferable over your old workday view. So, congratulations, buddy.
Wife and I left the suburbs and moved out to the country, so that just happened. It'll be a week tomorrow.
That's why you weren't here last week, everybody. That was the final push.
I was in a U-Haul with a tow behind me, so.
I was like, come on, we can still do a show. Doesn't matter, your tire just blew out on the way there. Come on. Adapt and overcome, buddy.
That's a journey.
Oh, that's funny. All right, well, let's get down to some business so that we don't just yak everybody's ear off over stuff I'm sure they'd love to hear about, but,
You don't have to live through ours.
Right. Hit us up. We'll tell you all about it. So have you, with your schedules all nice and calm and you're very prioritized and taking time for rest, did you get caught up on the chapter for today?
Actually, I was going into Tractor Supply today, and I listened to the chapter.
Oh, nice.
So it's, we literally have to go into town now. It's not just like we used to live like 2 minutes from everything, and now we have to go into town.
Yes.
Just like
yes.
I did. Yep. Less the horse and the sleigh, but same difference.
Right. That was me in the mountains. You had to go down the canyon, up the canyon, to get anywhere. And yeah, I do have to say, one one aspect of this house I am enjoying. We're probably only going to stay here until, Christian's done with high school, but we do enjoy the proximity. I haven't been able to have a pizza delivered. I was counting it up in like 25 years, and now I finally live where I can have a pizza delivered. So,
yeah, we were like, Costco was our local grocery store. We were that close. We were close to everything.
Right.
Lowe's, Depot, Costco. Everything. You name it, we had access to it.
Welcome to the country.
This one, not so much.
No, Costco for me is like a journey. I'd have to make a whole day out of it from here.
Where was it? I was asking somebody, and I said, "Hey, where can I get tractor tires?" And he goes, "Not around here."
Online, order those things. I've got a tractor tire story. I'm going to squirrel on this one for a minute. My mom and I go in her convertible Mustang to pick up 2 Bobcat tires. And, dude, we just put the top down, put like one in the trunk and one in the back seat, and we're coming home like that. Oh, it was so funny. It was like, hillbilly heaven, right? We're in the Mustang with these 2 huge Bobcat tires. Thank God we didn't get in an accident. They probably would have taken us out,
Yeah, the tires would come flying through.
Right? Yeah. So they're headed to town. Laura's never seen a town before, and so to her, this is just,
That's crazy.
Yeah. I can't even fathom that. And it really made me reflect on how much, like, I couldn't even fathom that, right? We can't survive without town. We most of us, I don't know how many people are still living out in the mountains or whatever. There was some back in California, I'm not gonna lie, but like,
yeah, even very few people that
they still come to town. I knew this mountain man, he still came down with his donkey and stuff and came down for sugar and whatnot. And yeah. So yeah, it was crazy. So, most of us don't know what it means to build things rather than buy things.
Yeah.
Right? Like, my neighbors were, like, amazed. They're like, you took down your retaining, or not retaining wall. You took down your privacy fence and built a chicken coop out of it? Yup. Because you got to be resourceful sometimes.
I was running electric wire around the top of the garden fence, and I had to build a little spool to hold this a little rack to hold a spool of wire so I could
actually
drag it around the whole,
it. Yeah. So it unwinds.
I was out of property looking for, scrap wood and, found whatever, a lag bolt, and, this will work. And here's some screws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most people, they don't even think that way nowadays. It's just like, well, I would go to the store and buy something. I gotta go buy something. I'll throw it out and buy another one. Throw it out and buy another one. It's very disposable. And so I think that as we experience this change in Earth more and more, we're going to be reminded of like why being that resourceful is important.
Yep.
Also, we're like on demand society. We want something, we order it, and it arrives at our door. We want something, it's there. We want a car, we go to the lot, we get it, it's there. And now with these supply shortages, it's not there. You got to like order your car. It could take months to come in. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, can't believe this. This is, whoa, And
every time I turn around to get something, and it's like, maybe 6 months.
Right?
No.
And how quickly has society just like our generation just understood it's there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we just got, like, I was used to just getting in a car and driving 5 minutes to being able to choose between Home Depot, whatever, and getting it and getting back home and doing what I had to do.
Right. Without a problem. One of the things, they were still talking about the chlorine shortages. And I'm like, wait a minute, the hurricane took that factory out 2 years ago. What's the problem? Well, it took it out 2 years ago, but they haven't had the supplies to rebuild it. And that plant in Louisiana was 40% of chlorine production. So we've been going off stocks, but this year is looking really, really shady for chlorine supplies. So people with pools, hopefully it's salt water, you know? I don't even think I'm going to put mine up this year because of it. That and my new German Shepherd. Well, you know, he could jump on it, puncture it or whatever. He's not old enough to kind of get it yet. But yeah, I don't think I'm putting mine up because of that. And then for...
Unless you have.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I've got plenty of other, like, I mean, not as much as my pool water storage, but I have a significant, you know, water storage, so. And then, like, reminiscent of the Roman Empire, here in the United States, our food comes from everywhere to feed us. Like, there's things in the store that I never even, you know, yarmulke and these, you know, weird fruits from all over the place, right? And now it's like, well, now that if it's a shortage, you're like, well, where's my grapes? Where's my this? Where's my that? You know, that we always had before.
And it used to be seasonal, and now it's like
All
year
the time.
round.
Right. Yeah. Bananas all year long. Corn all year long. Like, I don't know really how that happens, but it does. And we've gotten very, very used to that. So I think some dramatic changes are coming. And I'm very curious if our soft society is going to be able to harden up and handle this. Like, think when they did that town in Chad or whatever, and they were like gardening in that town to like be, you know, they were making their self-sustain. It was pathetic. You know, I'm just going to say it straight up. Their attempts were pathetic. So there's a lot of learning that has to be done. The new generation behind us is even more stunted because of technology. And as far as being able to adapt with this changing planet, it's going to be a very big challenge if we don't start pulling some heads out of some rears pretty quick and taking control of this situation ourselves. So as far as food shortages go, I found some really crazy numbers. So just last year alone, natural disasters accounted for $12.5 billion in agricultural loss for our country. So this isn't only like loss. This is the 12.5 billion is only the lost potential crops. It doesn't include like infrastructure. Maybe their barn was destroyed, their fencing, their this, their that, right? It doesn't include those numbers. It doesn't include any kind of livestock losses. It doesn't include horticultural crops, and it doesn't include timber losses. So those numbers can even be higher than that. The states with the top losses were North Dakota, which is big trouble for us. That's wheat, soybeans, and corn. $2.4 billion lost. Texas came in second because of the big freeze that we had. Grapefruit and orange production really took a hit here in Texas because of that, in the sum of $2 billion in losses for Texas. South Dakota.
Didn't even think of Texas.
Right?
Citrus.
Yeah. That, you know, they grow fair. I wanted to do an orange tree and stuff. It's a good climate for it. But now I'm like, if this is going to be the norm, because we kind of got hit with it, not as extreme, but we kind of got hit with it again this year. And supposedly that wasn't, you know, I haven't lived here that long, but supposedly from everyone I talked to, that's like an irregularity. South Dakota had 1 million in losses in corn, 1 million in corn, 1 million in soybean, and 1 million in wheat and forage acreage. And then California had $500 million loss in fruits and nuts, and 125 million in almonds, 150 million in grapes. So overall, it was 2.4 billion in wheat loss for our country, 1.79 billion in corn. And that's, you know, they're doing the biofuels. That's animal feed. That's what's the syrup? Gosh, I'm blanking. Oh, high fructose corn syrup, right? That they put in like everything. 1.18 billion in soybeans and $1 billion in fruits and nuts. So these prices, like, okay, it's a price, but the prices equal product, right? So when you hear about these numbers, you got to understand that's food that is not being stored and put into the market. Even the New York Post, I even found from the New York Post, 63 billion in annual losses in East Africa. And they're blaming it because of the ozone, their pollution's so bad, which, yeah, I mean, it could definitely be a factor. But natural disasters and that, they had some of the worst flooding years and things like that. So that dollars equals less product for their people.
I blame all the pickup trucks.
Oh yeah, totally. No, the cows, dude. Downtoearth.org, it said over 200,000 hectares in crops have been lost to locusts since 2019 in India alone. So on top of everything else, we've got those locust swarms that are still back at it this year. Then, of course, we have the Ukraine war that's slowing the supplies from Russia. This is going to have a huge impact. And I'm going to get into it. But one of the biggest things is aluminum. That's all your canned goods. That's all your canned dog food. All the, aluminum comes from Russia. And then the oil supply is also going to have a huge effect. We could definitely do something about that. We're not incapable in the United States if we had the correct leadership in place to do something about it.
I heard somewhere they were encouraging ethanol.
Yeah, which, even if everybody plugged electric car in, what's that going to do to the grid? That the grid's not built to handle that. So, I mean, there's so many.
Right, so
you got to balance. It's all about balance. Yeah, I know. Did you see the new electric truck?
I've seen some flash commercials.
Oh my gosh. One of my clients wants to buy one. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Why would you do that? They look so stupid, dude.
Everybody seems to be coming one.
With a truck?
Got one. I think Ford's doing. Have you seen the new Ford Mustang? Electric
No.
Ford Mustang?
Did they kill the Mustang?
It's can't you could have called it what was it? It was the Mercury Sable. I forget what the Taurus. The Ford Taurus. Couldn't they called it the Taurus or something?
Oh no, it's a coupe. Or no?
Yeah, it's a 4-door.
Yeah, it's a a sedan.
Fastback.
Yeah, crazy.
Yesterday.
All right, so we got fertilizer costs on top of everything else, and so North Korea is asking their people. They're doing a state-run program to collect the waste so they can make their own fertilizer. Yeah.
SHTF has really happened if your government's asking you to collect your waste.
Right? I mean, in a country that small, but in a country like ours, I mean, you could literally just start picking up animal poop and using that too, right? So I'm sure there'll be some shift there, but definitely not enough. It's not going to take the place of it. It's not going to 100% fulfill that need. That's for sure. So technology is always this double-edged sword, and technology in farming has allowed us to just expand beyond belief and be able to grow these massive farms, because it's like GPS run tractor that you just sit in it while it does its thing, right? Well, the other day, Brock went to get a part for his job, and John Deere parts are gone. And they're not expecting them back in for a while. And it's well, what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to run the tractor? How are you supposed to run the mower kind of thing if you can't get the parts? And when that starts hitting our farmers, on top of the chip shortage, because all that stuff is all electronic now. And if you don't have, you don't have the chips to replace the parts, you don't have the parts to replace, we're going to see that newfangled, awesome, that's going to be tested really big time. I think you'll see some of the old tractors coming out of the barns. That they could like jerry rig it. You know, my grandpa had our tractor like so jerry rigged. Like, yeah. So, and the chips come from China, which, you weren't on last week, but we talked a little about what's happening in Shanghai. Have you seen that?
Yeah, there's lockdown again.
Yeah, that it's like ridiculous over there. A banana costs you $15. It is crazy. Or no, $5 for a banana. One banana. Because there is some food. It's just, you know, who's going to be able to afford it? So even Senator Roger Marshall has come out, and he serves on the Senate Agricultural, Energy, and National Resources Board. And he's come out and said he's predicting a worldwide famine beginning next year or in 2 years. I've been looking at this coming down our pipeline for enough years that I think it's going to be at the door sooner than that. I just don't think he wanted to incite panic. He's pointing at all the wartime sanctions, you know, as the cause. That because of this, that's going to make it that much worse. And it will, for sure. So, I mean, he's on point. He's pointing at the fertilizer shortages, then the diesel, right? The farmers need that diesel. And if it starts going to wartime efforts or gets to a price they can't afford it, again, how great is your tractor then at that point? And then... Yeah. And then energy costs just in and of themselves, double or tripling, is also going to add to the strain of the farmer trying to get his field planted. That was all on foodcollapse.com. That was actually a pretty cool article there about the senator's concerns. So how are things looking at in your end of the world and your new end of the world? What's the store look like? Look good?
Well, so I've gone to a couple like motorsports for like a side-by-side. Trying to get one of those. None in stock.
Yeah.
No. Tractor parts. It's like 3 months, 6 months out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's really weird. I mean, something like I just ordered like downspout diverters, so I can capture the rainwater off the roofs.
Right.
And of course, that was Amazon. I can get that, no problem. The solar charge, I got a solar charger for the fence. That was actually on sale. I was shocked, and in stock. So I was really shocked.
Beautiful.
Pun intended.
What about food-wise?
Food is, we found one grocery store that we really like because they're like a discount grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
When we were first coming up to the area, before we moved here, they were like loaded to the brim, and now, like frozen foods are like half full. Their canned stuff is still there, but their frozen food is like... Yeah. There's half of the freezers are empty.
I've noticed that as well at our store. Like,
like the dry foods and the canned foods seem to be okay right now, but that was, yeah.
And like we used food in the frozen section, you'd have options of like what kind you want to buy. Now it's like all stocked with just one kind.
When I left the suburbs, it seemed like the grocery store seemed pretty well stocked. The Walmart seemed pretty well stocked. I wasn't seeing anything there. Mm-hmm. Smaller town. I saw a big. I was surprised. Yeah.
Well, turns out that geography, where you are in the world and in the country, is having a big effect on what you're seeing. So some people are like, dude, I'm not even seeing anything. And other people are like, oh my gosh, look at what I walked in, all this shelving,
Ken, he does travels a lot for his job. And he's like, yeah, I see, well-stocked Walmarts all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good if you want to shop at Walmart.
Yeah, well,
So some, they were saying meat, meat again is going to be a problem. The beef kind of thing.
Yeah.
Dairy requires a high amount of transportation and storage costs. So that's one thing that we might see start decreasing. One of the ladies over on MeWe was like, oh, I have this local lady and she'll sell you like, you can go to her house and buy milk and it's with the cream on top and everything. And I'm like, dude, I so wish I had a person like that around here. I'd be there like every day. So the poultry wasn't supposed to be in shortage. It was kind of a fallback kind of thing, right? So the avian flu hit the United States. Have you heard about that?
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
35 million poultry birds have been affected. From the
Worldwide?
CDC. No, in the United States.
Jeez.
35 million birds. 35.5 million birds.
How is that? Is that primarily factories or is that like backyard birds?
Primarily factories, yeah. Like where they have big, things of turkeys and chicken. But that's your canned dog food, right? To do like canned dog food, that's inexpensive. You need the aluminum, you need the poultry. And so it's starting to just skyrocket in price and have shortages of those types of things. Now, this is breaking news because I just saw it today. CDC...
You need to play this song?
Oh, yeah, my song? No. April 28th, the first case of human contraction of the avian bird flu. Guess how they're testing for it? Even with the
Nasal
birds.
swab.
PCR test. No doubt. And they destroyed 35 million birds because of a PCR test. So, yeah, you can do your own research on that one and develop your own opinion. But, yeah, that's how they're doing it. And that's what's been happening with our poultry supply in the United States. Also, vegans are kind of, not going to like to hear this one because there is a shortage of plant-based proteins. So you're thinking tofu, almond milk, any kind of soy-based cheeses, because those are the crops that got hit. And because they started shutting down all these animal production factories, the demand for those types of product have increased because of the animal shortages. So now there are vegetable-based protein shortages as well. So the vegans aren't free of this problem. Fruits, vegetables, and goods made from them are expected to skyrocket in price. Things like soup, because it's an aluminum can, it has vegetables, that kind of stuff. And because of crop failures, and because of stockpilers. Specifically called out, stockpilers. Rick Williams from JPG Resources, he was saying that because everybody's stocking them, we don't have them on the shelves anymore. Which, come on now. So, yeah. Back in the day, like everybody started if somebody wanted to stock up some soup, it would just be back there. I mean, you can't. That to me is just going to call out for different things to happen in the future. And suddenly, food production plants are just magically exploding and burning to the ground. It's just the weirdest thing. So March 16th, Nestle factory in Jonesburg, Arkansas, a fire shut that one down for weeks. And then also on March 16th in Plainfield, Indiana, a Walmart distribution center burned to the ground. March 22nd, Shearer's food potato chip plant in Oregon, the boiler exploded and destroyed the entire facility. In March, in Salinas County, California, 4-alarm fire took down one of the major food processing plants there. March 28th, Maricopa Food Pantry in Arizona was burned to the ground, lost 50,000 pounds of food in the fire. March 31st, Rio Fresh Onion Plant in Rio Grande Valley of Texas had severe damage from a fire. April 11th, there was a major plant fire at the New Hampshire East Conway Beef Facility. April 13th, a plane crashed into the Gem State Processing Plant in Hayburn, East Idaho, which obviously does potatoes. April 13th, another major food processing plant in California burned to the ground. And April 21st, another plane crashed into a General Mills plant in Covington, Georgia.
So what's the backstory on these planes? The private planes?
The planes? Yeah, private planes. And just, missed the runway. Hit the food factory. Yeah. The one in Georgia was like 2 miles away from the runway it was supposed to land on. Yeah. And that's why I was just like, this is weird. What? This is just the past, like, honestly, that was all within like really a month. That all of that happened to food processing plants, like all of a sudden. So, I don't know. That's what made me a little suspicious of what the heck is going on. So what can we do at this point? We got to have answers because we can't just freak out about the food and we got to have answers. So right now, when you're going to the grocery store, of course, buy 2, put 1 away. Don't eat it. It's so much easier said than done because if it's still there, then you don't have to go to the store, right? So really try to make sure that you're stocking up on different items. You can buy vegetables in 4 packs of cans, in flats of cans, that kind of thing. You really have to just kind of pad yourself right now. Plus, with the inflation levels, I mean, you're going to be saving yourself money if you buy it now and use it later. Either way. If we have individuals growing food in communities, we can begin to feed those communities with a local food source rather than worrying about food that's traveling so far. And yeah, it's going to be different for us. I mean, it's going to be more of what you can get locally, when you can get it locally, and when that comes in a big plethora of items, it's going to have to be packaged and stored. That in and of itself is going to become a challenge if we keep up the aluminum shortages and I don't know, the canning stuff was coming back kind of, but you figure if everybody starts really using it, it's not going to be there again. It'll be in high demand and I don't think we have the production to really step it up. So that leaves us with like very rudimentary storage ways, unless you have a freeze dryer, you know, that kind of thing, or put it in the freezer. So anyway, now we know why Grandma used to rinse out those Ziploc bags. I was always like, Grandma, why? Why do you do that? You know? She was like, hey, you never know. You never know. The survivors of the Great Depression were like, it can happen just that fast. That they were always ready after that. So we need to be ready. The senator said 1 to 2 years, maybe. But I think being ready today take you through any kind of adversion that you come across, and you'll be ready to adapt and overcome. Our planet's going to change. Oh, the changing Earth. But, you know,
book series.
I know it could be. It really could be. It could be a great name of a great series. But adapting and overcoming is the name of the game. And we're going to have to do that locally. So as much as we want to think like big picture and all of this infrastructure is always going to be there, I don't think it is. So we're going to have to focus Focus tight, guys. All right. Well, that's all I got for everyone today. Next week, I will have the new release date for the audio drama. We're there, which is awesome. I'm like one person away from having all of the lines in.
Is this the one where the meteor falls on TJ?
Yeah, totally. Yep, stay tuned for that episode. No spoilers, Chin. Jeez.
Sorry. I'm so excited.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is the one. This is definitely the one.
Imagination.
He is put to the test. They all are. And it's a lot of fun exploring Vergis's story too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I took the narrator out of this audio drama season. And so without a narrator, you kind of have to, even in my books, the narrator tells you about what's going on that Erica doesn't know about, right? So that's really where Vergis's role comes in big time, is to give the audience, what's happening that's not in her view. It's really coming together very well. So as soon as I have that last in, we can announce a date for it. We can set up, we're going to do a binge show with some giveaways and all kinds of goodies. The Intrepid Commander and I have been talking about it. So if you guys aren't on the live feed yet, you need to get on the live feed with PBN, Prepper Broadcasting Network. Head over there and get it done, because that's where the giveaways are going to be, and we're going to have some fun with that day. So hopefully you guys can all make it over there and win some prizes. I'm going to give away some books, and we're going to have all kinds of goodies, coffee and all that stuff that the audience or that the creators of this show, what we do, right? We'll have to get Ryan to do some. Maybe I could win some of his freeze-dried goodies. I don't think I can win as like the host of the thing. Dang it. But all right, guys. Well, we're a little bit early today. I whipped through stuff, and Chin's gonna get us all set for next week. hit.
Good.
Yeah.
I can survive another week in the country.
Yep. Yeah, you'll have to show. You have to keep sharing your progress and stuff, because I'm interested too in your journey, and it's awesome. I'm very proud of you for your decision, and very good job, and hopefully God blesses you with much success on that journey. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. All we can do is give it our all.
One foot in front of the other.
Oh.
Right? All right. Until next time, remember, dream,
survive.